Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you wish. Now today we are previewing Game Week 25. We're going to get straight into it, but the Game Week 26 double has been booked in, so we know that Arsenal and Wolves will double. It's up to you with Ego Wolves, but we'll be looking at a lot of transfers this week, some underlying stats, but I'll be giving advice on some Arsenal picks as well. Straight away, let's have a look at the fixtures for Game Week 25. Not looking too far ahead for 26, and I can only really see three fixtures that matter that we're going to get points from. Manchester United against Spurs. I think Bruno Fernandes is a viable captaincy option this week. I don't think Spurs can match up to them, to be honest. I think Spurs played their best game last week, and we'll see them falter at Old Trafford this week. That's just my opinion, but I'm pretty confident that'll happen. Expect Manchester United to do well. I do think they will concede. I think Thomas Frank's Spurs is coming along. They're not quite there yet, but they're showing signs of improvement. So they'll give a good match of it, but I don't think they'll get any points out of this. It should be a United three-pointer, slam dunk, and Bruno Fernandes should get some points. Speaking of points, Arsenal, you need triple Arsenal for the double next week, and it's probably smart to have double or triple Arsenal for this week at home to Sunderland as well. Coming off their EFL Cup win midweek, Arsenal looks strong. Declan Rice got the assist, so those who are worried about Declan Rice's performance over the last six expect him to get better and better as the year goes on. It just seems like the player he is. But yeah, you need at least double defense, whether that's Raya, Timber, and obviously everyone's going Gabriel. Some people are even going Ben White and Saliba. That's up to you. But you need triple, I think, especially this week. Sunderland, undefeated at home, but they do not travel well. So that's one of the issues for me, Sunderland. Let me just slam that ticker on. I keep forgetting that. They don't travel well at home to the Emirates. Expect the league leaders and future champions to consolidate their lead. Last but not least, Wolves, Chelsea. Now, the reason why that one's there is not because of Wolves, it's because of Chelsea. They'll be looking to bounce back. They didn't play their full team against Arsenal. There were a couple of players here or there. Interesting lineup too. I think they played Delap out wide, which means to me that João Pedro is still the favourite for this new setup. Delap playing out wide means they don't know where to put him and not confident that he fits into this system. He's still a good player. But don't forget, mid-season changes and managers, some players just randomly get left out because they don't fit into a particular system, and it could be Delap. I mean, I think Delap's a great player, but the type of player he is doesn't suit every single manager on the planet. We'll see how that goes. Maybe that was just a once-off, but for me, Chelsea, I've got 3 Chelsea this week. They've got a really good fixture run over the next few, and I think everyone should have at least 2 Chelsea moving forward, and I expect them to win and win handsomely. You can see the 4 other fixtures I've put there, but they've got crosses through them, so we're not going to bother with them. Bournemouth, Villa, it's a coin toss. I think that'll be a 1-1. And even Senesi, if you've got Senesi, I guess you play him. Fulham and Everton, I think if you've got Fulham players, you play them. We should win that at home against Everton. They don't travel well, and we're hitting a good stride of form. Fulham also has some good fixtures moving forward, and Rodrigo Muniz is back in training, so that's very important for fantasy. He's a cheap forward if you need one. Newcastle, Brentford, I don't know what Newcastle's up to these days. They are really hit and miss away from home, and Brentford away from home are terrible. But Newcastle, they're at home this time, but then they don't have Bruno Guimaraes, so you can't bank on them. And of course, the one everyone's talking about, Liverpool City, I mean, that could just be a goal fest, or if City don't turn up, could be good night. Let's have a look at the attacking trends, the XGI over the last 6 game weeks, and we almost wrote them off until last week, but Hugo Ekitike leads the XGI over the last 6. His XG is massive, but he's got a lot of XA for a forward, which is good. He's got 4 goals and assists across that period. His XGI is even more than Ollie Watkins, who's got 5 goals and assists over the last 6. But Hugo Ekitike plays for a better team. They're going to have a better fixture run. But for me, it's between Ekitike and Florian Wirtz down the bottom there. 4 goals and assists across that same fixture period. Wirtz's XG is quite high as well, 1.82, 1.57 at the bottom there. And Wirtz is the highest scoring midfielder over the last 8 game weeks, or 6 game weeks. So people are saying Florian Wirtz is in a purple patch. No, this is the Florian Wirtz that Liverpool bought. It just took him a while to get used to things at Liverpool. Liverpool's a changing team. Don't forget they've got some older players they need to rotate out. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah. They're still class players, don't get me wrong. Nothing against their legacy. But Florian Wirtz is here to lead this Liverpool team for the next 10 years, and those two players specifically won't be there. So the start of the season when he was playing, Mo Salah was still the kingpin, and he was getting a lot of the assists or opportunities and a lot of the goal opportunities, but they weren't converting. So for me, Florian Wirtz is the one to go for now. A lot of people still own Ekitike, and with Alexander Isak out, he's not a bad shout. So I think he's doing pretty well. Igor Thiago's XG is really high. That 5 goals and assists is just 2 game weeks. He's blanked in the last 4. David Brooks again is right up here. David Brooks is up here on every week. I do different tables each week for attacking trends. I can do XGI, shots on target, passes. David Brooks is quite often here, but we don't get the results. It's interesting. Brian Mbeumo, 3 goals and assists over the last 6. Look at that XG, 2.95. If they keep playing him up front, he'll keep getting a lot of opportunities, and those who have brought him in will benefit from it. But my concern with him is Sesko is just banging them in for fun. I mean, he's a known goal scorer, Sesko, playing in other leagues. So I think if they unlock the key to him, United seem to need a striker. So I think Mbeumo can play out wide with Bruno in the middle and Sesko up front. That's a dominant front four, whether they have Ahmad or Cunha or anyone else out wide. I think that'll be a pretty good front four for them. And Enzo Fernandez, 5 goals and assists in the last 6. He's ticking over nicely. He's still under 7 million. He's getting lots of XG, XA. Cole Palmer can't play a full game, and they tend to get penalties towards the end. And he's striking up a really good partnership with João Pedro. So why would you go away from them? He's a bit of a no-brainer at this stage for me. Let's have a look at these highly owned picks that people still have that are just going terribly. Look, 25% owned, Mickey van der Ven. I love Mickey. I think he's a great player. He is the Dutch Messi that's 6'6", but he plays for Spurs and their defense just isn't doing it. And unless he's going on these Messi-like runs, he's not really worth the points, not really worth the investment. There's other defenders out there that can do it. He's not getting the DEFCON. And his partner in crime, Romero, seems to be the one that's getting on the end of headers. So for me, I would probably move off him. And I don't think Spurs' fixtures moving forward look that flash anyway. Bruno Guimaraes, only 15% owned. When I was touting it about he was scoring 3 game weeks in a row with double-figure points, he was roughly 25-30%. So everyone's dropped off him. It says rotation there because he is on the way back, but I don't think they'll slam him in straight away. So for me, he's an avoid. Their fixtures aren't flash anyway. They're not that good. And Igor Thiago, 34% owned. Form is dipped in terms of attacking form, scoring goals and assists. As I said, he's blanked in the last 4. The fixtures are terrible over the next few. You might want to get back into him after Chelsea's fixtures turn for the worse in the game week 28 or 30. I can't remember exactly when it is. 28, I believe. So it's a good, if you go to João Pedro now, who's in scoring form and has a really good system around him, I think that'll be a good swap back to Thiago then and get in 28. So I think that could be a good hokey-cokey for those two there. Or you can just try and ramp it up to Ekitike. That's entirely up to you. Where will the points come from this week? Well, goals, clean sheets. I think there's going to be a few cleans this week. It feels like one of those game weeks. It's going to be pretty average. The points across the board will be quite tight. Set pieces do matter. So if you got set piece players, if you got penalty players, play them. I'm tossing up in between playing Matty Cash or Ndai, and I think Ndai, because he's on pens, I might just play him, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And game state is heavy. Liverpool do not want to lose at Anfield to Pep Guardiola. I think the great man James from Planet FPL mentioned that in Pep's entire career here in the Premier League, he's only won once at Anfield. So regardless of what they're doing in the league and what their recent performances are like, I think Liverpool will want to keep that victory against City. They're new rivals. We'll call them new rivals. Let's have a look at defences to trust, and it still blows my mind. They're up to game week 25. The XGC over the last 6, the top 2 teams are Liverpool and, yes, bottom of the table, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So Liverpool, 5.06 XGC over the last 6, which is pretty good. They're not conceding an expected goal per game week, and they've got Manchester City at home this week. As I said, I think they should win that, but they'll concede some chances. That being said, City aren't in good form. Haaland's not getting those chances. It'll be just like just like FPL folklore, when people start getting rid of Haaland this week, that Liverpool play him back into form. And Wolves at 5.20 XGC over the last 6. That's amazing. They're doing really well. They're not winning, but they're tightening up. They're playing better. Chelsea at home this week, I expect that XGC to skyrocket. They've got a tough few fixtures coming up, so I don't expect they'll feature over the next few weeks, but it's pretty interesting to see them there. Can you trust these defences? Well, probably not in these 2 fixtures, let's be honest. But over the next few, Liverpool, I think you can trust them. Speaking of trust, Arsenal's defence, their clean sheet odds this week are the best in the entire league. 62% at home to Sunderland. I mentioned before that Sunderland do not travel well. This just screams like Arsenal clamping down and trying to get a 1 or 2-0 victory. That's why I'm not really looking at Arsenal players for my captaincy this week. I just think that it'll be a 1-0, 1-0, 2-0 runabout. And I think Sunderland's defence is good enough to stave off a 4-0 drubbing like they did to Leeds. And Fulham at home to Everton. We know Everton struggle, but Fulham do love giving away a late penalty, as much as it pains me to say that's something we're really good at. So I'd expect Everton to get something out of this game in terms of a goal. I think we would win. I think we'll win maybe 2-1, 3-1. But play Anderson. He should get DEFCON. I'm probably going to play Element and Die as well. But 40% clean sheet odds, 50-50 for me. I'm not really too convinced that that's going to happen. Who should we actually buy? Or who am I looking to buy over the next couple of weeks? If you don't have him already, the safe pick, 90-minute man on pens, and he's the number 1 Manchester United player at the moment over the last 10 years. And I mean, he's making an argument to be their number 1 player in the last 20, 30 years, even in the Premier League era if he keeps going. Not really on trophies, but just on pure performances, is Bruno Fernandes. He's my captain this week. He was last week. He got 10 points, and I think he'll do something similar again and maybe even bust out and get himself a goal and an assist against this Spurs team that's struggling defensively, and they also struggle against tricky players like Bruno, like Ahmad and Mbeumo. So I think Manchester United will have a lot of fun. They're quite high up in the table, Manchester United. I think they're 5th. So they've got the luxury of playing some decent attacking football without having to try to protect a result. I mean, if they drew with Spurs at home, it wouldn't be the best, but they want to get some revenge against them from the cup final loss last year in Europe. The system scorer and upside pick this week will be João Pedro. He's got some smashing fixtures moving forward over the next 4 weeks. He's scoring goals for fun, and he really gets on well with the gaffer, and I think that's the most important thing for footballers. If they're happy and they're scoring, then that's all that matters. And last but not least, the aggressive pick, maybe not this week, but next week or the week after, Florian Wirtz. He's not cheap, but he is aggressive, and he is playing extremely well. He's Liverpool's number 1 player. Don't listen to the fans. It's not Mo Salah. It's not Van Dijk. It's not even Ekitike. It's Florian Wirtz. He will carry this team for the next few years. Injury dependent, touch wood. I think he'll do very well towards the end of this season, and start of next season. He'll almost be a shoo-in for everyone, alongside the likes of Bruno Fernandes. I think I'll play him towards the end of the season almost every game, let's be honest. And if Morgan Rogers doesn't lace up his boots very, very soon and start getting those returns we expect over the next few weeks, then he can easily go to Florian Wirtz for me. So those are the 3 that I'd actually buy if I had three transfers up my sleeve, or if I needed to have some changes in midfield and attacking. Really try and bring in those points week on week. Now, who was involved? Let's have a look at the open play chances created. From what we can see here, total chances created, Bruno Fernandes is way out in front of everyone else, 68. The next best there is 43, Bukayo Saka. You can see him 4th down there. Then we've got the likes of Florian Wirtz on 41, Doku 39, 38 for Grealish, Neto, Fernandes, etc. But you take away set pieces and the open play chances, the field tightens right up. So Bruno Fernandes is still top. He's still the best in the league. But almost 40% of his entire chances come from set pieces. So open play is 40, which is really good. Florian Wirtz is 36, Doku's 35, 34, and it runs down from there. So what does this mean from Bruno? So A, he's getting far more chances because he's on free kicks and corners. but he's still getting the most open play chances as well. So he's still right up there. He's also got the best XA in the league, I believe, and also in the list for 5.91. Bukayo Saka's second there at 5.11 for XA. Open play chances, second would be Florian Wirtz. I mentioned him a few times. Jeremy Doku, who's now got an injury flag, so I'm not entirely sure if Doku will play this week. Once again, he's a rotation risk. And for the rest of City, Antoine Semenyo is coming up to be a rotation risk very soon because he is eligible to play in the knockout games for Champions League, so expect some rotation there. Jack Grealish still up here at 32, even though he's been injured for a while. Shows how effective he was at the start of the season. He was neck and neck with Bruno Fernandes. Enzo Fernandez doing well, and Pedro Neto as well, right up there in the open play. So that's good from Chelsea's attack. Notice Cole Palmer's nowhere on this. I know he's been injured, but we might need to come to terms with the fact that Cole Palmer, having not been an FPL asset for the last 2 years, it might have been a one-season wonder. I really hope not, because he was phenomenal, and I think he's still an amazing player, but they need to treat that bloke properly. Like, he's got injuries. I know there's a World Cup at the end of the season. Probably means he'll go to the World Cup, then get surgery, so he might be out for the first half of next season. I'm not sure how they're going to manage it. They've got enough players in that team, Enzo Fernandez, Pedro Neto, to deal with it, but I'm sure those players would like some clarity over minutes. With Cole Palmer limping on and off the field every time, it must give them anxiety about when they're going to play and how they're going to play in this team. All right, captaincy options for game week 25, and notice the big Viking isn't there this time. It's Bruno Fernandes. He'll be my default captain this week at home to Tottenham. Bruno Fernandes can absolutely smash any defence, and Tottenham looks frail at the best of times. They did good last week in Japalenia, getting into that defensive line, but I don't think that'll continue. Japalenia's future for me is in the defensive line, and I wish he'd stayed at Fulham and stayed there with Anderson. We would have been amazing with three at the back with Bassi as well. But I digress. Bruno Fernandes on pens. He's arguably in the form of his life. He's on free kicks, everything else as well. He's leading the league in chance creation, XA, and he wants to score goals too. So I think he's going to do really well this week. I'm expecting another double-figure haul from him. Secondly, if I was chasing rank desperately, I'd go Enzo Fernandez. Once again, he's scoring week after week. Wolves away is the worst defence. Even though their XGC has been the best, arguably one of the best over the last 6, I still think he's going to struggle. I also think they're going to struggle against this Chelsea team, and Enzo Fernandez plays every minute. He's also in pens when Palmer's not there, and the fact that Palmer's limping around, he can easily be rested for the Wolves game, so I expect Enzo to get a lot of opportunities there. And last but not least, at home to Sunderland, it's Declan Rice. This could be Gabriel, it could be Saka or Gyökeres if you still have them, but I'd recommend against keeping those players because you might not want to have them long term, but you do need 3 players for the double on game week 26. Declan Rice is on free kicks and corners as well. He doesn't have penalties, but he can score from open play. He did get an assist midweek against Chelsea in the EFL Cup, so that could be a turnaround in his form. And he's still one of the best performing midfielders in the league in terms of points. I think Bruno and Semenyo are top 2, but Declan Rice and Enzo are right behind them as well. So those are my 3 picks for captaincy for game week 25. Yep. Game week 25. Let me know what your captaincy would be this week. Let's have a look at the free hit draft, eh? There's a few people on TikTok saying that they're doing free hit and what will be the best draft. So I'm going to start doing them every week again. Last week I did wildcard because a lot of people are doing wildcard. This week will be free hit. So it's a balanced 11. I've got a flexible bench if I need it. And I've got captaincy coverage there too. The intent for this is obviously, as usual with wildcard and free hit and any chips, is to maximize points and obviously reduce risk. I've gone Leno at the back at home to Everton. The clean sheet percentage of 60% is just too much to ignore. I think we'll do pretty well. We don't keep a lot of cleans, but against Everton we definitely can. I've gone Pope as the backup. If you don't want that, you can afford Pope with this setup. You've actually got a couple of mil to spare if you wanted to move some money around. So Pope's the backup, but Leno and goal. I've gone 3 Arsenal, Gabriel and Timber. They're almost a no-brainer. They come as a pair now. They may as well sit in everyone's team. I've gone Rice as well. He is a captaincy shout, but he wouldn't be captain of this team. I've gone 3 from Chelsea. Chalobah, I mean, he's getting returns every week almost, not necessarily attacking returns, but he's getting decent points, as is Enzo and João Pedro. Once they're in the form of their life, keep playing them until it runs out, and then you can get rid of them. We've seen this season that players go on big streaks, 6, 7, 8 games, and then all of a sudden it dips, and that's the time to move off. We need to be smart about it. We've got more transfers these days, we've got more chips, so we need to act quicker. So I've got 3 from Chelsea, 3 from Arsenal. I've also got 3 from Fulham, because at home, we're looking really good. So I've gone Leno and also Kevin and Wilson at home to Everton in the midfield. Wilson, as we know, is smashing it almost every week, and Kevin's getting more and more confidence. Kevin is highly touted as a trickster and a player that can carry a team on his back. It's taken him a while to get used to the flow of the Premier League, but right now Kevin is in really good form. He scored a goal on the weekend, and I think he can back it up again. He's next to Rice and, of course, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, you have to have him. He probably would be the captain, even though he's the only player in the starting 11 without a green fixture under his name. He would definitely be my captain this week, just because I think he's almost guaranteed a double-figure haul. I say guaranteed, that's my opinion, but I think he's guaranteed a double-figure haul against this hapless Spurs team. And up front, as I said, João Pedro, partnering him is Bowen. Bowen's away to Burnley. It's a good fixture for West Ham. West Ham have just brought in a couple of strikers and attacking options, which frees up Bowen because he gets less attention on him, so he can wax lyrical and do whatever he wants. I really think Bowen's going to excel this week. If you don't like him, I've got Evan Nielsen on the bench as well, so you can swap him out. They're at home to Aston Villa, but we've seen Aston Villa have been a bit shaky lately, so who knows what's going to happen there. Senesi and Munoz are also on the bench because I've gone 3 at the back, and I think this free hit is an attacking free hit, so we got some goal scorers there. Let me know what you think of this free hit, and if you want a chip this week, show me your teams and tell me what chips you're using and what the team looks like. Here's how my team lines up for Game Week 25. I'll run through the team, then I'll talk about my moves and my risk. I got Ropes in goal. Away to Arsenal compared to at home to Dubravka, at home to West Ham. I just don't trust Burnley. I might change that later, actually. It's still a 50-50 for me. 6 or 7, whatever. Still 50-50 for me, but yeah. Ropes did me good last week. I got good money out of him, so I don't trust Burnley. I think Scott Parker has lost the dressing room, so I'm really trying to avoid them. But I've gone 4-4-2, so it's Chalobah, Gabriel, Timber, and Cash. Chalobah's a keepsake for the next few weeks. We can see his fixtures there. They're looking good for the next 3. Then I've got Arsenal and Villa, which I can easily bench him for. Gabriel and Timber have a good fixture this week. And then it's a bit iffy. They've got Brentford, Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton, but they're the number 1 team in the league, so I expect a few more clean sheets there. Matty Cash is away to Bournemouth. He could be the one that I swap out for and die on the bench there. Morgan Rogers is pretty much on, I don't want to say he's on his last legs, but if he doesn't get results against Leeds and Wolves, I think he's gone. And by that stage, I'll be looking at Florian Wirtz. Bruno Fernandes is my captain. He's gone up to 9.6 now, so he's so popular. He's going out to premium capacity. Declan Rice, obviously, he's a season keep, as is Enzo, because he's playing really well. My transfer in this week, even though it says rolling, that's wrong. There's always one bit of text I get wrong, right? Rolling, wrong. So I brought in João Pedro for Igor Thiago. That was a transfer I wanted to do early in the week, which I had to do to avoid price rises because that affects my future transfers, the likes of Rodgers to Wirtz, etc., injury dependent. And I've gone Haaland up front. I'm not going to get rid of Haaland. Look at that. Fulham, Newcastle at home the next 2, away to Leeds, and then Forest at home. It's a pretty good 4-game run. I'm not going to get rid of Haaland. João Pedro, the assistant scorer, I had to bring him into my team. So in Die, I think I'm going to do Cash now. This is I think I might do that. Gahey and Krippy Jr. on the bench. Krippy Jr. I played him last week. He got me 7 points. That's fine, but he can stay back probably until the West Ham game, I think. And same with Dubravka. So the bench makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I've already said that. I'm going to change it around. In Die or Cash bench, it says that. I'm probably going to change those 2. But this team is well set to cope with future wildcards and double game weeks. You notice I've got 3 Arsenal there. A, they're the best team in the league, and B, they've got a double coming up. I'm not going into Wolves. I don't think Wolves are a great team, so I'm not going to bother having a team for their double because then I'll be stuck with a Wolves player afterwards, and what would I do then? I don't really need it. And I don't expect them to get a result, so I don't see many of their players getting more than 5 or 6 points. Yeah, that might be 10 or 12, but considering over the next few weeks after that, they'll probably get, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So that's no point. I'm just going to stick with 3 Arsenal. Probably triple captain Declan Rice, depending on his form against Sunderland. I'll probably triple captain him in game week 26. But that's just an early thought for my game week 26 team. But this is my 25 team. As I said, I'm probably going to change Dubravka for Rose and Dyer for Cash. Injuries dependent. But let me know what you think of the team and what your team's doing this week. Right, my final orders for game week 24. Captain will be Rice or Bruno. Think about form, think about role, and think about fixtures. If you need to buy anyone, it's still Bruno and Chelsea for me. There are good fixtures coming up. Bruno's a must-have. And if you need to sell, and you've got Van der Ven and Thiago, it's a no-brainer. Thiago and Van der Ven need to go. The only warning I have is do not overthink the risks. If there's risks in your team, get rid of them. Do yourself a favour. Jump onto my YouTube channel. My 2 videos this week got some good feedback and might have some interesting topics for you. Best FPL transfers, that was released on Monday, and then on Wednesday was my transfer tips. That's more about whether or not you should hold or move and what your actions should be, whereas best FPL transfers is just players and stats. And that's the thumbnails. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Can you please just remind to like and subscribe? It does really help with reach. And I'm trying to reach out to a lot of FPL managers, and hopefully we can watch, plan, and charge together for good results. I hope all the arrows are green and the differential scored hat tricks. My name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Have a good week.